Hey everybody, welcome back to Up North Aquatics. Short video today, but something that I think is something that people will find useful, and that is how to make a spawning mop. So spawning mops are something that I just had to learn how to make when these golden white clouds started showing signs of carrying eggs, and I didn't know how to do it, and I had to Google it myself. So I figured now that I know how to do it, maybe I'll share a little bit, and it's pretty easy. If you want a sinking spawning mop, all you need is some wool, something square. People will use cardboard, plastic. I'm going to try using this specimen container with holes drilled in it. The holes aren't important for the spawning mop. And scissors. These are my rusty fish room scissors. This should be super quick. I'll show you how to make it step by step. Step one, take your wool, your yarn, whatever. Start wrapping it around whatever square object you have, like this, and do it about 100 times. Maybe not exactly 100, maybe more, maybe less, but until you have about as much wool as you think you're going to need for the thickness of your spawning mop, and that's kind of totally up to you. So I'll fast forward. Okay, done with step one. Step two would be to take the beginning string that you started with and cut your ending string so that it's about the same length, and then slide this whole mess off with those two strings hanging down. So I'll show you what that looks like. Okay, now we have a ball of string with two ends hanging off it. And the next step would be, if you wanted a floating spawning mop, to get a piece of cork and slide it up in this top piece here, like push a hole through the top with your fingers, slide the cork in there. If you want a sinking one, keep that closed. And whether you have a cork in there or not, you take these two strings, wrap one around about like ½ inch down, or on the other side of your cork if you have a cork. Wrap one around clockwise and one around counterclockwise, and then when they get short, tie them. So I'll skip to that. All right, there's what that looks like. See, one's wrapped around clockwise, one's wrapped around counterclockwise. And you're left with this lump up here that you could put a cork in. You can hook it to a bobber, you can hook it to the side of your tank with some fishing line or something if you want a hanging one. If not, you can just drop it in and let it sink. So all we're gonna do is tie this in a bow just like this. If you can see my little bow there. Then once you have this like this, the next step is really hard. Throw it in your tank. If it had a float on it, you would want it floating. If it doesn't have a float on it, you're gonna have to push it under the water, squeeze the air out of it. I guess if it had a float on it, you'd do this too to get the sinking part to sink. Now that everything is nice and saturated, it's the point where you can like wring it out, throw it back in, walk away from it for like 5 minutes, and I promise you when you come back, it's gonna be right on the bottom like that one. Then depending on what you're breeding, let it sit long enough for them to spawn. Come back, take it out, throw it in an empty tank, and have fun with your new baby fish. All right guys, like I said, super short, super sweet video, but it's something that I found super useful that I had to look up. So maybe you guys knew how to do that, maybe you didn't, maybe I helped some of you. Let me know in the comments what you think, or if there's anything you do differently when you make yours. I know there's many ways to do it, but that's just how I do it down here. And let me know what success you've had breeding with spawning mops. I'd love to hear your stories. So yeah, hopefully that helps out. Hopefully I get to chat with a few of you. As always, like and subscribe, of course. Follow Up North Aquatics on TikTok at Up North Aquatics, and join our Facebook group, Up North Aquatics Aquarium Advice and Adventures on Facebook. Let's talk about fish, let's have a good time. But yeah, thanks for stopping by.